So I got my IceRiver AL0 exactly 50 days ago, and since then I have been solo mining Alephium with it. But exactly how much have I made, and has solo mining with it actually been worth it, or would I have made more if I would have just pool mined with it instead? That is what we're gonna have a look at in this video, after this quick word from our sponsor. Coin Mining Central is an online store for ASIC miners, and there's no doubt that right now ASIC mining profitability has just been going up like crazy in these past few months. And the miners that I'm personally most interested in right now are probably the IceRiver AL2 Light Home Alephium miner and the Jas-Miner X16Q, which I still think is probably the best ASIC miner available for at-home miners like myself. Coin Mining Central are also continuously providing me with exclusive discount codes for you guys, like the code 𝗧, which gives you $125 off on every miner in your order. I am also very excited to tell you that Coin Mining Central have recently launched a loyalty program that lets you earn points in loads of different ways, like signing up for their newsletter or following them on social media. You also earn points on every order you make with them, and these loyalty points can then be redeemed for massive discounts on your next purchase. Now, on top of this, with Coin Mining Central, worldwide express shipping is always free, and there are never any added payment fees during checkout or anything like that. The listed price is always the total cost you'll pay for the miners. And I did a lot of research before I decided to partner up with Coin Mining Central, and there were two clear things that stood out to me about them. The first one being that, as opposed to most other ASIC vendors that are based overseas, Coin Mining Central is registered and run out of England, Europe, which means they have to adhere to the very strict regulations for customer support and personal detail protection that we have over here. And of course, all brand new miners also come with a full manufacturer warranty. The second thing is their pretty much spotless track record of delivering miners to happy customers like you guys for well over 5 years at this point. So please go check them out today. I'll have the discount codes and link for you down in the video description. Alright, so first let's start by having a look at just how much I have made solo mining with my IceRiver AL0. So I'm over here on the computer on the Hero Miners dashboard for Alephium mining, my Alephium mining pool dashboard. And we can see here, I've had this up and running since I got it, and kudos to IceRiver for their quality, I guess, because this has not gone down a single time during those 50 days. It's been up non-stop without any issues, so that's been good, I guess, good quality there. But that's besides the point for this video, really. What we can see here, and I guess what we're looking at, is how much I have mined with it since I got it. And that is this number here, the pending balance, 43.17 or so Alephium. Now there's a total paid here, that is old paid to my account well before I got this miner. So what I did was, as soon as I got this miner, put it on to solo mine on Hero Miners here, and I set the minimum payout threshold really high so that I could differentiate between what's been solo mined with this new miner, as you know, to not get that mixed up with the total paid. Because to be honest, I didn't want to have to bother setting up another Alephium address for this. I could just do it this way. So this is how much the AL0 has solo mined for these 50 days. Just over 43 Alephium. Now, there are a few things about the Hero Miners dashboard here that I feel like I need to explain, because it was a little bit confusing to me, and I think a lot of other people also get that confused. The first one being this thing, the current solo effort. Now, when we talk about solo mining, we are essentially talking about our individual luck, where 100% means you have mined exactly the amount of blocks that you're expected to with your hash rate. Because when we are solo mining, we're of course only being paid when we actually are the one solving a block. And to a certain extent, that is kind of down to luck. But of course, the more hash rate you have, the less of a factor luck becomes, which is why we have pool mining, where a bunch of people all mine together and then share the rewards equally. But a way to kind of gauge how lucky you are as a solo miner, we look at this luck percentage or effort percentage, where 100% effectively means you've mined exactly the same amount as you would have if you would have been pool mining. So 100% is you've made the same amount as if you would have been pool mining. Lower is better because it means you've exerted less effort than you would have needed to get that same amount of rewards through pool mining, and higher than 100% effort means the opposite, right? Now, the first confusing thing here for me was that this thing, current solo effort, is not total solo effort, which what you might think is it's the big number right at the top. You might think, okay, throughout my whole time solo mining, what's been my actual luck here? Have I, made more or less than pool mining? And you expect this number to reflect that, but that's actually not what this number is. And all you have to do is just hover over this little question mark here to find out that no, this is just your current solo effort, as in this is your effort since you found the last block that you found, essentially. This is your effort on your current progress in finding a block since the last time you found a block, essentially. So that is the first thing that is a little bit confusing here. The second thing is if we scroll down here, we can see a list of our recent block rewards. However, something that I notice here is, I can probably load a few more here, but at some point it stops loading more. Do you see that? It won't load anymore. And I've obviously solo mined since before the 13th of November here. So especially if you're solo mining a coin, with higher effort needed and you don't find as many blocks as you would with Alephium here, for example, this might actually completely clear out, because the Hero Miner's dashboard seemingly only saves your mined blocks for a limited period of time. So you might look at this and see it as empty. It might be empty for you, and then you think, oh, I haven't mined any blocks here. What's going on? I have terrible luck. I haven't mined any blocks. But it might just be that it's, you've mined a few blocks, but it's kind of been long enough that hero miners have just removed them from the dashboard database. So you've still mined them, you've still gotten paid for them, you just cannot see them on your pool dashboard anymore. So those are two very, important things to keep in mind when solo mining on hero miners. Anyway, this video is not sponsored by hero miners, but those were just some things that I wanted to point out because they were confusing to me, so they might also be confusing to you. And I also want to say I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with how hero miners are portraying this on the website. It just wasn't what I expected it to be, so I got confused. So now you don't have to be confused as well. Now, I have one more thing that I need to mention here, and what we're looking at here is my current dashboard for solo mining with this AL0. However, this is for more than 50 days. What I did do is I did take down all of the numbers as of 50 days. However, I did not have time to record the video on that day. So now, recording this video, I do have all the numbers as they were, as of 50 days of solo mining with it. But what we're looking at now is a little bit more than that, just on the live pool dashboard here. But don't worry, because we're just going to switch to a spreadsheet instead to compare the actual 50-day numbers. And here they are. So my real solo mining results were a coin yield of just over 37 Alephium for a total mining revenue with today's coin price being $65.03. So let's just compare that with what my pool mining results would have been. But that is actually easier said than done, because what we can't do is we can't just come to a profitability calculator website like What2Mine, look at, today's mining revenue or profitability here and multiply that by 50, because profitability has, varied for these last 50 days that I've been solo mining. So what we need to do is we need to go and find historical profitability data for the previous 50 days, add all of that up, and that's what we're gonna compare with my solo mining luck. So fortunately, I was able to find that on this website, Mining Now. If I come into the IceRiver AL0 here and I look at the 3-month chart here, I have actually gone through and just gone backwards in time here for 50 days. And don't worry, I did cross-reference these numbers with some historical snapshots that I did take of profitability from those days. So this is seemingly true, revenue for these days at the coin price of those days. And why am I saying the coin price of those days? Well, because if we're wanting to find out, compare the actual true results here, we need to compare the mining yield in Alephium coins, not in dollar value. So what I've done is I've come here to my little spreadsheet here, and I've pasted in the historical numbers here of just the revenue that I would have made on all of these 50 days here, as I found here on the Mining Now historical chart here. And then I've also downloaded the coin price of those days to see just how much coin I would have been paid if I would have been pool mining throughout these past 50 days. And that is what I've taken and added up, and that would have been my true, real coin yield if I would have pool mined with my AL0 for these past 50 days. So I hope you're following me, because we're gonna have a look at that result here. And would you look at that? It is extremely close to my solo mining results at just over 0.3 or so, maybe almost 0.4 Alephium more than what I had gained through solo mining. And what that coin yield would have been worth as of today, well, $65.45. So 42 cents more than I gained through solo mining. And of course, that brings the total luck here to, yeah, just over 100%. And I have to admit something here. I am not surprised by these results at all. You see, with coins like Alephium, or in any kind of solo mining test like this, where you let it run for a prolonged period of time, where you have sufficient hash rate to actually hit blocks regularly, eventually this luck number or total effort as you're solo mining is going to creep closer and closer to 100% and become more and more similar to just what you would have mined through pool mining instead. That's kind of just how the math works. And a lot of the time when you might, try solo mining for yourself, or you've heard from someone else who has tried solo mining and they say that they've either gained way more than they would have from pool mining or way less than they would have from pool mining, which can definitely be true during certain circumstances. And, at the end, it does boil down to luck, but the longer you run a test, the closer it's going to get to 100%, at least if you have sufficient hash rate to actually hit blocks somewhat regularly. And with what do I mean by somewhat regularly? Well, I believe with this Alephium mining test, I've hit roughly 1 block per day, a little bit less than 1 block per day or something like that. So that should give you a good, point of reference. But another side of this coin too is that they might just be confused about, either the pool dashboard and the numbers they are getting. I already kind of went in depth here about the current solo effort. If I would have just had a glance at this and seen 112%, I would have maybe thought, oh, I made 10% less than I would have if I was pool mining. Solo mining is obviously not worth it. But then, you have a little closer look and you realize, no, this is just since the last block. And if I see here, I can see I've had, some that goes to 180%, but then I have, here's one at 16% effort and one at 7.5% effort. So, it's all over the place. And the longer you run it, here's one at almost 300% effort. The longer you run it, all of this kind of evens out to get really close to 100%. And of course, the other thing that I also mentioned was how hero miners seem to purge just the data of these old blocks. So you might not even see some of the older blocks that you've hit in your dashboard here. Of course, this, as I said, they still paid you for those blocks. You just cannot see the information about them on your dashboard anymore. And I would never blame anyone for making those mistakes or misunderstanding any sort of mining pool dashboard like that, because I literally made those mistakes myself. I misunderstood it myself in that exact way. So, no judgment at all there. I definitely understand that that could be something that someone would do. And now finally, I also want to talk about how you should probably not buy the AL0. I know I've talked about it in this video, and I know that I have one, but there is just a much better, value proposition available right now. So if we just have a quick look at the AL0 here on the Coin Mining Central website, you can see it's 400 gigahash for about $400. However, if you just go to this one, the AL2 Lite, which is, less than twice the money here, you get 2 terahash instead of 4 gigahash. So for less than double the money, you get 5 times the hash rate. Or if you're willing to take even a further step up there, you can actually get 7.5 times the amount of hash rate there for just, what would that be? 5 times the price again. So you can, 5 times this amount of money here, but 7.5 times the hash rate. So as you can see, there's definitely better value propositions in terms of Alephium miners available here. These 3 miners all have essentially the same type of chip in them, so they have the same mining efficiency in terms of watts per gigahash of hash rate. And I actually talked about this in my previous video, how just for me, my personal subjective opinion is that these look kind of good at this price. If you're unaware, IceRiver very recently kind of slashed the pricing on all of their Alephium miners, which are these 3 that I've just shown you. And on top of that, you can also get a little bit of a further discount, either on the AL2 Lite by using the code 𝗧AL2, or on the AL3 by just using code 𝗧. I'll leave a link to these miners down in the video description, and I actually talked more in detail why I think these miners actually do look pretty, attractive at this moment with my, from my own subjective opinion. I did talk about that in my previous video, which was that Black Friday deals video. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link to that over here on the screen so that you can go check that out. And yeah, I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.